Welcome to Academy of Tone. What is it? 243. Yeah, straight from the R&D department with Julian Preuss.
Hi, welcome in my lab, where I sit day in, day out.
We work here day in, day out. Yeah, and we are actually preparing for the Namm show. And in this episode, we want to show you where we are with our revision number 6.
Yeah.
And the first sound we could hear is something high gain. And that was something that we couldn't do last year. And the high gain is now to our liking. And we have a lot of more to show you. Yeah, before we start with the AmpX, I have a few things concerning Namm. So I'm going on the plane on next Tuesday with a very early train ride from Saarbrücken to Frankfurt. Together with Valeska, we both will fly there. And then, yeah, we have the usual, 11-hour flight. Get our rental car, drive down from the LAX airport, away from the wildfires, down south, close to the coast. Anaheim, this is where the convention center is. There we will meet with our dear friends Kloppmann, Andreas Kloppmann, also a party of 2, and Nick Huber. And we share a nice Airbnb apartment with like 2 houses and things. So everybody has enough privacy. And what's going on at Namm, I have to mention our booth number. It's 5910. For those who have been there last year, same place. For some reason the number changed, but it's the same place. Yeah, great place actually, because officially we are not allowed to do any noise, but we are on the wall. And on the opposite side of the alley is Martin Guitars, and Martin Guitars has like a wall there, so their booth is closed towards ours, so we cannot really disturb those guys. And that means I can have a few little demos with speakers. Officially not allowed, but unofficially done. And I know the noise police guys for many years, so I try to be not too loud, but it worked fantastic last year. So that's a good spot. Our neighbors are Vintage, the brand from the UK. Of course, I do have my 2 signature guitars there, so we have Vintage guitars to try out at the booth. You know, of course, the Strats that I do with them, but also classic vintage guitars that they, Les Paul copies and stuff. On the booth itself, I will have a BluGuitar with Klopman pickups, and I will have a Nick Huber 59 style Les Paul guitar also with Klopman pickups. So I'm prepared with high-end guitars and standard guitars. Okay, one more thing about what's going on at Namm besides the regular 10 to 6 trade show hours. There is a nice event the day before, which is the 22nd of January. It's the third rooftop jam with Ronnie Lee that I'm joining again. I've been to all of them. Fantastic musicians, Marco Mendoza, maybe you know him, Stanley Jordan. Just watch it up. It's killer lineup. It's, I don't know how many drummers we have. I just remember George is one of my favorites there. So I'm always very keen on the drummers, and they're really looking forward to do that. So that is that Wednesday. Then the day after a regular trade show day, and I think on Friday I'm joining the Marriott Jam in the Marriott Hotel, which is on the Convention Way towards the Convention Center. And I think Larry Mitchell is there, Neil Turbin is there, killer singer. If you are there, come and see us. That one is for free. The rooftop jam is with entrance fee. So that's Friday night. And Saturday I got booked for a nice concert jam style on Long Beach. Well, if you are familiar with LA area, there is a very long beach, and it's called Long Beach, and the club is called the Gas Lamp. There might come up more things, but so far I'm pretty well covered with playing and socializing. Yeah, then I will also do a business trip to New York and, you know, visit some friends over there. So I'm really excited, looking forward going to America next week. And where we are now is in the R&D, and the reason for being in the R&D is we want to give you real insights on where we are with AmpX. And it is, you have to understand that we are on revision 6, which is completely redesigned from scratch. I mean, we have a lot of things in common, of course, our power amp, but every sound that we created on version 5 is gone. And we just spent the last weeks, maybe, recreating sounds that we already had, and some new ones. And yeah, for instance, simply let me show you what you have listened here. It's the AmpX.
But let me say a few words.
Sure.
So you saw that we have now the bare PCB on my development surface, let's say. It's just a wooden board.
This is the AmpX.
The PCB sitting on it. Yeah. And that we have connected to our AB system here, which then goes to the fatcab, which is in the corner over there.
Just behind my seat, maybe. Here. It's a brand new cabinet.
And then we have a mic here, and that's what you are hearing.
Exactly. So, and just for the guys, this is the one that I was touring with all the complete last year, revision 5. In the end, it will look exactly the same, but the inside is different. So this is the new PCB that features a lot of improvements. And that's the reason why we are still not finished. But all I can say is now, with this PCB, I have achieved, or we have achieved, that quality in the whole spectrum. And that's the big point, in the whole spectrum. We started with a few sounds here and there, and then we noticed this is great, but this is lacking something. And then we revisited the thing, and like high gain, what we just heard, was a topic. And yeah, so we revisited our schematic, we revisited the whole thing. We had to design a new PCB with a new layout, with everything new. And that is here now.
And of course, a new firmware with new sounds on it and so on.
Yeah, and maybe Julian can explain a little bit about the, let's say, the control software that we are using to recreate or create sounds. That's what he has here on his laptop, computer.
So let me close stuff here. So this software is basically the development kit to make sounds for the AmpX, which is not open for the public, but specially designed for me and Thomas to make amps and make effects. And you see, this is the model of the Peavy.
Yeah, we're talking about this Peavy here right now.
Yeah, this Peavy here below.
6505 or 5150, very similar amps. And that was our reference amp. And what I was playing in the intro was not the Peavy, was already the Peavy on the AmpX.
Yeah. So that's what we heard in the intro song. And yeah, for each knob that the Peavy has, I have basically in each line an array of things that should happen. And yeah, if I turn the knob here,
you can see
how the dots
Lucas,
are moving.
You have to go very close, because this is crazy.
It's about this line here.
Just show this line and now move the knob. Yeah. So while we turn one knob internally,
this is what's happening.
Yeah,
and so
10 parameters are changing at least.
Yeah. Of course, it's not for every knob that it's so super complicated, but at least for the tone control, it's
needed.
Kind of hard. Yeah. So, and it took me a very long time to get the software abstraction that is lying below and putting all those curves back together again to send it to the actual thing inside the hardware that does the sound change. Yeah, so that is a big part of what I was working on the last 6 months or so.
And now we have the sounds on his computer, and we have to transfer them onto the hardware.
Yeah, the sounds are not on the computer, but it's a recipe for the AmpX
the parameters,
to set its hardware.
Yeah. Can you recall the sound, because you already turned the knob and fucked up the reference point?
Okay.
So let me play a little bit. So this was Peavy, the Noise Boy versus AmpX. But we have a noise gate. So let me open it a bit.
I can turn it off if you like.
Yeah, and then we compare the noise of the two amps, just for fun. This is what we are doing day in, day out. So. Yeah, about the same. It's not the same, but it's similar. Okay, the sound we try to get as authentic as possible, but maybe it's not 100% because we're using that Neumann big condenser mic, studio mic here, just right to my knee. But maybe you can hear, maybe you can recognize the Peavy in the AmpX. At least for me, it's pretty close. There's tiny little things that we can even like modify and get it a notch closer.
Of course, this is like an open heart surgery.
Yeah, and it takes time, but for what we have achieved in this, time that we invested in the amp so far, I'm pretty happy. And of course, with every amp that we are doing, we are still learning a bit more about the whole process and optimizing the thing. All I can say is this hardware is able to recreate that amp to such an extent that I don't hear a thing, or that it's possible. And it's just us. There is no computer software like profiling and things like that, because what we are doing is kind of redesign this amp on our hardware. And that's a different process. So it's not 15 minutes and then you have a sound. No, it takes days, weeks, maybe months to get one amp. And this amp then has all the settings possible. We can, for instance, turn the treble control on the AmpX, and then we do it on a Peavy. And maybe you can hear, I play, front panel sometimes does help. Okay, I play something. M4. So. So, I think this is pretty similar, but when you go back for the let's call it our
the reference,
our neural analog engine, because this is more than one control. Now when you turn the treble control here on the AmpX, we can see what is happening on the computer. Can we show? At this point, it's like 9 things moving. Okay, and
and you see, it's now just 2 points each, because that is how much time I could invest in this treble control. Yeah, and I could now just set 5 more points.
Yeah.
And then adjust it to some middle position.
Yeah.
And then it maybe
closer.
Even more close.
Yeah. And see, this is kind of the basic sound design that we have done, and you have seen at the beginning how complex other curves can be. And of course, we can invest a lot of time into all these details.
Which we will do before we release
the final amp
blueprint.
The amp as a blueprint, how we call it. So that is what's actually going on here. We can show you a little bit more stuff. Any questions about high gain at this point? I can read the chat on my laptop here. Nobody, everybody happy? Well, let me see. The mailing list, la la la. That's all. No, I'm more into any questions for sound. I think that needs a program and hardware abstraction layer for the AmpX was only probably recognized by Tommy's a year ago. Yeah, we had it. We had
No,
that. Huh?
no. We started with the first version of that hardware abstraction layer like in 2021 or so.
Yeah. So we are talking 4 years ago.
Yeah.
But the whole thing is growing. I mean, this software that Julian is using is constantly improving, adding more options, more functional, and more interactions of the parameters. And this is what we call our neural analog engine. And this is needed for more precision. The more options we get on this side, the more precise we can recreate or create stuff. And so that has been growing at the same time as we did new hardware. It's always a ping pong. One side is challenging the other one, so we get to the highest level. Let's switch guitars. I usually don't play these modern stuff, that much. Before we go into this, before I forget, a tiny little thing. I'm killing Alex's guitar. That I wanted not to forget is this morning we had a little post on speakers, neo speakers versus classic speakers, and this is a good old fatcab speaker, which is 60 watts, used in the fatcab, what we just heard. And as we all know, I like the sound of the fatcab, and I like, of course, the sound of this speaker in this cabinet. Some people asked me if why I'm not using Celestion speakers. Well, I designed my own speakers for each individual cabinet. And this is another little achievement here. So this is a classic speaker, and it has 4.7 something 4 kilograms and 740 grams. Okay, all good, all great, fantastic speaker. So, and of course, modern day technology means smaller, more lightweight. Here's the logo. And this is our first neodymium speaker, which took me, I don't know, 5 years, 4 years. I was, so, and this is the first one that I sign off that is actually good enough that we sell it in the NanoCap Neo Pro. NanoCap Neo Pro, maybe this is the logo. And this speaker has even more power handling and is even a little bit louder than the other speaker. And look at the weight, 1,789 grams. So the other one was 4,700. And this is a lot less weight. And yeah, that's also part of what we are doing here. And one comment, why are we having those two nanocaps in the range now? Because this speaker, the Neo speaker, has more headroom. The Neo speaker can handle a bit more power, and that is a quality by itself. And it makes also sound, the nano cap, a bit fatter. Okay, this is the pros. On the other side, the classic nano cap with a traditional magnet speaker is still a touch more vintagey, a little bit bluesier, I would call it. And therefore, people that want that traditional vintagey sound, they are probably better off with the traditional nano cap as it is, and so this will stay in the product range. And the Neo Pro speaker is for the guys who want to travel even lighter because they have to, and for the guys who want to have a bit tighter sound because they play maybe rock music, or some guys even metal music, with such a small and compact cabinet. So that is the idea about this whole thing. And what is better is always a personal choice. You know, people think black and white, and they think, yeah, it's a mercury, is it a iridium, this, and well, it's maybe better for you. This one is better for you. This one is better for this, and we offer something when it's coming to the point where I think the market is not offering this. It's a real choice for people that have real needs or wishes. You know, what do we need actually? We need some food, and there's always something in the fridge, and the rest is, we don't need anything, but we want things. And when we are on stage, that's my realistic situation. I actually need things, because I'm not happy with some other solutions, because then I miss things that make me play the way I play, and then I cannot be myself, and then I start to hate myself, and when I hate myself, nobody enjoys the concerts anymore. So this is why I have a very high expectation of my gear. This is why I have a 61 Strat, and you know, and try to get the best for my option.
And also the alternative have like a weakness at exactly the one spot that you like the most, and that is edge of breakup.
Yeah.
Which is a nice comment by Guba Toro. I'm not sure if I pronounced this right. I always feel like modelers sound better clean or high gain, and struggle with most edge of breakup low gain, but I wonder if the complexity of high gain sound makes matching them harder.
Yeah. I mean, you know, that's totally my thing. Look at my Vox AC30 1964. Look at the Marshall JMP. This is a real plexi from 1967. And yeah. And by the way, I think we have one of my mobile videos when we did the JMP. And we also have we have some of the Tweed, but maybe watch the JMP video, because there you can hear, I think, the quality that is the hardest for modelers. And this is actually why we do the whole thing, because I live in this in-between world where everything is cooking, where this stage is breaking up, the next stage is breaking up. And then when one note is clipped in this stage and the other one in this one, and only when it's all interactive, and this is so colorful as a sound, and that's what I love the most. I mean, the heavy sound here is another discipline which I was like we were not starting with that, but I believe we nailed that now as well. But our total strength is, of course, the in-between sounds, because that's where I live.
Someone else was asking if high gain sounds are harder to make than low gain sounds, or other way around, or anything else. And for me, more gain doesn't make it harder. It is, for me, it's the tiny nuances here and there
yeah,
that make it hard.
We spend hours, days, weeks here, and we double check our ears, because it's always the combination of measuring and hearing. And for me, it takes sometimes 2 or 1 second. I can hear my first impression is the most important, because otherwise anything afterwards is like you start to bias yourself to whatever you want to think.
After some time, the hearing adjusts to what you have been hearing before, and then the perception becomes weaker.
Yeah, and so we sometimes discuss about 0.2 dBs, which I can prove that I still can hear the difference.
Which is totally pointless.
But it's important. For me, it's important because it's part of our precision. And in the end, it's good that we know it. And then we can see how we can use this information in the project to get as close or at the best level. And when we're talking about tube amps, they have tolerances of 20%. I mean, this is not we are not talking about 0.2 dBs. We are talking about 2 dBs or sometimes even more. And we have to have a way tighter grid on analyzing things for the tone, and this is the next thing for the feel as well. I think we can watch the clip of the JMP. Sometimes I just do this with my mobile when we have done something. Maybe you can hear the difference, or maybe not. Yeah, so this is this amp here, the JMP from 1967. This is a EL34 loaded, all original, blah blah blah. This is it's a killer amp, but in my collection I actually have a better one, which is just around the corner here. It's a 69. This is my personal preference. That's still on the list to be done. Maybe for Namm, maybe not. We will see.
Let me tell me how he did it to me. he gave me this one.
Yeah.
Then we brought it to where it is now, and then he changed it to the other one and told me, you only need to turn here and there a little bit, and then it will be the same.
Yeah.
Banana, it will be the same.
No, it's not the same. And this is the beauty of all these vintage Marshalls, because they all have tiny differences, but these tiny differences, they are characterful. And I mean,
I would say there are big differences between those two.
Yeah, and we are simply talking like
the same model.
It's the same model.
2 years later.
Yeah, 2 years later, it's a different amp. I mean, once, like Julian, we worked together so close. He can understand why I bought these 2 amps. And when I bring my next Marshall, there's also a reason for that. And other people would go, this is a 50-watt Marshall, deal done. No, they have a character. The one guy has this schmooziness and ideal for this, and the other one is rougher and
has the quack.
and it has the quark and things like that. Okay, here is another challenge. If we would go back into the modeling world in the digital domain, I doubt that you get such a great character under your fingers, because that's the feel factor. Maybe, you know, I'm not talking sound in the way, if I think anything can sound pretty good these days. I mean, and we could also explain why that is, because if the EQ curve, like the frequencies that hit your eardrum, if they are correct, it sounds pretty much pleasing to, oh, okay, it's good enough. But what happens with these amps is they have layers of saturation, and that's dynamic.
Yeah, and there is like a reverse kind of influencing of the stages to each other.
Yeah, and if you look at such a simple amp, it has literally the minimum that you can have. There's only one tone control, and there's two inputs, and
maybe turn it around.
I can maybe turn it this way so we can see the top here. This is a 1957 Tweed Deluxe, and where are we? This is input 1, this one, this is input 2, and this is tone. And that's just the pilot lamp that it's on, that is the power, and this is polarity switch. Yeah. And when you look inside, there is like almost a minimum design possible. But with those four inputs, you can have so many different, like in technical terms, EQ curves, or yeah, interaction also with the guitar. Just a little thing, when you bridge the two inputs, the input impedance changes. When you use this input, it sounds different. If you turn that knob, it will affect the overall thing, even if that is not even used. This thing is total chaos. And yeah, we have two clips of this amp. One is the best, so to speak, clean setting. I learned that from some YouTuber that says you have to dial in blah blah blah, and it's actually true, because when we measured the whole thing, we could see this is a decent clean curve. And
like this.
Yeah. It has some high end, it has some bass, and let's watch that video where we A/B the 57 Tweed Deluxe versus AmpX on the clean setting. Which is which? Okay, 57 Tweed Deluxe in the special clean setting. So that's the clean sound of this 57 Fender Tweed Deluxe. But what I find even more challenging is the sound when it breaks up. And this sound, I think we also captured pretty close, at least much better than the reissue, because this was the level we were on last year. And yeah, we have a little clip. Watch this clip also. Yes, so that was the 57 Tweed Deluxe. Maybe you can write in the comments if you do hear a big difference. And there's another thing, those amps also react to the speakers they are hooked up to. And therefore we came up with solutions that, wait, Julian is smiling.
Yeah, the clean works best if you turn up the volume.
Okay, next topic. But back to the back to those vintage amps. They are so complex in the way they react to anything, to the guitar, to the speaker, to the voltage drop, zagging is happening. It's crazy. It's simply, if people make a pedal and write Tweed on it, usually it's just the color of it. But what's happening is a lot more, and that's what we captured, and this is where we spent another year with. But here is another topic we like to talk about, like our own amps. So there is an amp 1 Mercury, no cover here, because then we can have easy access for measuring. So. And this is MX, no reverb. So pretty close. The volume here is, we need a touch more volume. Thanks. So that's my half dB. Yeah,
It's more.
It's more. Anyway, but you could hear this was a Mercury clean versus the Mercury clean on the AmpX. Now we can have a few things tweaked.
The whistles and bells added.
Yeah, we are not 100% sure what will be the end result, but you know, I like the sound, and we have the treble bleed on a special control.
I think we compared not because the volume was.
Okay, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Let's go here and show what the treble bleed is doing.
Okay. So let's just turn down the gain to like 7.
Yeah. So, and this is what's happening on the Mercury.
I don't know if I will hit 7. Somewhere.
And now, when we turn our X control for treble bleed, now it's off, which means this is the same gain, the same volume, but without a treble bleed. We are often talking about treble bleed and what's going on. Now we have a dial for it. Maybe I do a strumming, you know, like a. All the way down. Maybe you can hear it, maybe you don't. I can hear it definitely, and it's about this sparkle that we get, but it's also a little bit thinner. So that's one control. You could achieve similar results on the AMP1 by using second gain with a one control.
Or going to low gain mode.
Yeah.
But it's a bit more fiddly because this behavior you don't have directly, but you can only, achieve it by turning both controls against each other.
Yeah. So the next thing that I kind of like is to make such a sound smoother. And then we have our power drive, okay? All the way up. All the way down. I don't know if you can hear it, but I feel it.
Yeah, it's no EQ change at all. The EQ is constant.
Yeah, the EQ curve is exactly the same. It's just more tube, so to speak. You could emulate that with your amp1 by inserting a boost pedal in the effects loop and increasing the level into the tube.
Yeah.
That's very, very similar. So, for me, now to make a nice clean sound, I like that kind of power drive. Give me a little bit of reverb.
Or maybe too long.
No, it's okay.
No?
Leave it there, just for fun. But maybe give me all the clean volume. Okay, because now I have a... So for me, that's a nice sound on the edge of breakup, and it has with this little power drive. Yeah, that's kind of my thing. I kind of like sounds that are a little bit spongier than just a straightforward clean sound, you know. More sustain, there is more player dynamic, because it's in the mood of, hey, let's see if I can clip a touch. And this is what I kind of like. Yeah, that's an option here. We can have another sound like a Mercury Vintage.
Shouldn't we add the boost first?
Okay, yeah.
Last time we had the boost first.
we can have my favorite, make it more expensive sounding boost from the Replex, the tube Replex. So let's go back. We're on the AmpX. Okay, next is the Replex boost. Like a compressor, but it's a boost. And this is like what I... Anyway, I'm just happy with all these kind of extra spices, you know, a little compression here, a little overtone there. And this is all possible, you know, on the base of our AMP1 clean channel. And I mean, you can get there also with AMP1, but the thing about AmpX, it's all in this one box. You know, they have one box and then you hit your Replex and it's there. Hit the Replex.
Hit the Replex.
But you want to say something?
No, it's okay. I'll hit the Replex.
Where is the Replex? I have one here in the house. Wait a minute. While Julian is dialing it in, I show you.
I'm already finished, so.
So what we just heard was the tube stage of the Replex in front of that clean channel. This is my personal secret weapon to make any Strat sounding at least 3,000 whatever dollars or euros more expensive. So, and now I have This is very loud.
Maybe a little too loud.
Yeah, give me less of that. And a little bit more vintage factor, which is
I'm seeing it. More.
Give a lot of repeats just for fun. Yeah, and more volume. You have more wobble for me?
Something.
Maybe
wait a minute.
I think he has chosen the wrong Replex.
Yeah, I think also.
Yeah, because we know how good it really sounds, and this is not convincing.
Let's. I was already wondering why all my knobs are in different position than I saved them.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's crucial for me. What else can we show? Let's show some other channels. Maybe the vintage. Wait a minute. I go and switch the AMP1 to vintage. Bing. Here.
Should I turn the reverb off?
Yes, no reverb.
Okay.
Mario Stracuzzi is helping in the chat, I can see. Hello, Mario. Hardy O is there, Poo Ninja is there. I can see a lot of things. And I have seen Nathan McFarland from Nashville. Schärfentiefe is there. Nice. Nice guys. Okay, this is... Wait a minute. Bit more volume. So that's a vintage channel of a Mercury.
Missing something? No.
At the moment I'm fine. That's AmpX and that's... touch more mids, but anyway. So we are on the vintage channel here. What about our power drive?
Let's see.
Yeah, power drive 0. This is exactly how it should be on a Mercury.
Yeah, it was before on 0.
Yeah,
just the knob was on 10.
Yeah, okay. So now put it all the way up. I don't know if you can hear. Back to original. Full. For me, it's kind of, yeah, I am stronger. I have more muscles. It's like a... Anyway, Mercury Vintage is also my kind of taste, but with that little extra power drive, it's like if I play my amp 1 cranked on 6.5 to 7.
At any volume.
Yeah, and this is now with the AmpX on any volume. You can fake it when you have a booster in the effects loop on the amp 1. So there's always so many options, but okay, we are talking AmpX now.
Someone was asking about a wah.
Wah, yes, we have tons of wahs. We didn't. Shall we try?
Yeah, it's a bit risky since we didn't try them out before.
Yeah, you know, no risk, no fun.
Yeah.
So here's the pedal. By the way, this is our prototype.
Okay.
While Julian is setting up the wah.
I can only set it up if it's plugged in.
Okay, I plug it in and wait a minute. Give me this side. Um, so this is our own design. Wow.
The AC30 is in the way.
We have an AC30 in the way. And what is the specialty on this pedal is it has actually a plug here for stereo TRS connector, and there is no potentiometer inside. If we look here, this white thing, is a magnet, and this neodymium magnet moves in distance to the housing here, and in the housing is a Hall sensor which is measuring the magnetic field. So there is no potentiometer that can wear out or anything. It's simply just the distance that is measured, and this is kind of how we do it. And this pedal here has even another option. Lucas, straightforward on the desk there is the module. Yeah. Sorry. Is it? Yeah, you have fun. This is the pedal as it is, but we also have designed an additional module that gives you a Midi in and has an can connect another expression pedal. So since we have two expression inputs on the AmpX, and depending on whatever setting you want to do with external pedals, we have the option with this extra module that slides into this pedal here, goes in here, to have more pedals. So that's the BluGuitar philosophy. This is not finished yet, this is working.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully. Yeah, okay, challenge here. Let's see.
Should be running.
So I think we have several different wahs.
Yeah, this is Vox VAR 2. I have no idea.
Yeah, and now comes Vox VAR 1.
There is Vox VAR.
Okay, let's.
That one we did later, I see. Yeah.
Well, let's see what. Okay, this is my the gray hammer.
You have it there. Show it.
Hammerite. Yeah. Hold the guitar for a second. Here comes my wah collection. I think the first one we heard was this one, probably. And
the special one is the one that we are hearing now. I forgot what is special about it.
They have different what do you call it? Spulen.
Coils.
Yeah.
But isn't it some very super old prototype or so?
So if I'm correct, this thing is a Vox VAR that is manufactured in the very early days, because they used the Vox organ volume housing and put the electronics in there. And this is original old VAR. I'm lucky that I bought all that stuff when it was more expensive than other things, but not crazy expensive like today. And so I have 3 vintage Vox VARs. I think this is 67 probably, like the very first incarnation of the Vox VAR. This is the other one. And they all have they all have different coils. There is the Farcell coil, there is the Canister Spule, I don't know what this is, the English one, all the different versions. And that's also something we have done in the last year. We redesigned our wah section. So. Can you go back for the other one?
I always say this one is not a wah, it's a ui. So, Vox wah 2. Okay.
Okay. Any other wahs in the collection?
Your George Dennis.
This is
there.
the one that I was using most of my time. Why? Because it keeps the low and the bass. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the key question is already coming. How to switch it off?
Yeah, on my version 5, I used...
You have heel down.
I have heel down, which means when I go back with the wah like this, and then it's like a second or half a second, and it switches automatically off. And that worked actually pretty fine for me with a great pedal. I had also like cheap plastic pedals that were moving around when the stage is flipping, but our mechanics is very controllable. You have a screw here to tighten it and to make it looser, and yeah. So this.
Yeah. But you don't have to get our pedal. You can use the
Any
one
pedal
that you already have and
Yeah.
just connect it, and it should work. Yeah.
You have also implemented a calibration kind of thing. I was so excited about it, and he
I said,
thinks it's boring. Yeah, for him it's boring. For me it's exciting. You hook up any pedal and you go top, down, and this
Yeah.
is all you need to do. And
So the software for the expression pedals basically is sitting there, looking
for extremes.
for extremes, and then adjusting the range to that extremes. So if you move the pedal once, it will be min to max.
Yeah.
And then there is an additional abstraction layer where you can say, okay, but I want my wah only go to half and then back again, or whatever. So you can basically set some points, and then the AmpX will draw a line through it, and that will be your curve for that effect.
Yeah. So this was wow. Let's show the classic channel. Or any
Before,
yeah.
we had discussed before about more whistles and bells, like hacking the sound design here to get some other effects. Should we do it or?
Well, yeah, whatever. Yeah.
So, so I would say let's load the classic channel and then we break the clip.
Okay.
So that
yeah.
we see how it would sound if it had just a boring clip.
Yeah. Yes, please.
Okay.
Let's get rid of the wah because otherwise the whole world is getting too messy here. I put them on the side here. Well, wah is missing. But
Classic.
so now we are on classic on both amps.
Wow.
AmpX. So a little bit more volume, please. That's a Strat. Man, power drive is set to 0 at the moment. Did we
I think we didn't put any power drive to the classic channel
yet?
yet.
Yeah.
So, what you are saying, by the way, I translate it for the public. Every amp1 channel will have a power drive to get it a little bit more power driven.
Exactly. Yeah. That's,
without a lot of change in volume.
yeah.
And every amp1 channel will have that treble pleat feature, except for modern, because modern doesn't have a treble pleat in the amp1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of that freak that wants that power drive thing, and we implement this to almost any amp. So what we are saying is we have the authentic original sounds, and then we know we have a few spices here and there that we can also give you, and especially for myself, on these extra controls. And so we can pimp the stuff a little bit more. Depend if you like that kind of stuff, but I want my extra spices.
Yeah.
Okay, so now we are on the classic channel. And we wanted to show you something about clipping. So, of course, we know what we have done in the good old amp1 Mercury Edition classic channel, a channel that also lots of players like. And maybe Julian can show what happens if a clip is not exactly as it should be. Maybe you can hear. This is kind of something checking if you kind of like our nerdiness or if you don't care.
So
So
the classic clip is destroyed now.
it's destroyed. Okay, now we need a bit more volume to be fair.
Okay.
So it is exactly the same EQing, it's exactly the same amp, just the stage that is doing the clipping is being changed to symmetric, right? So, and that's something a lot of people are doing. they use a symmetric clip because, yeah, I mean, it's in order, so to speak. It's like, I have a positive part of the wave, I have a negative part of the wave. Now clip this side exactly like the other one, and this sounds...
It sounds more like a vintage channel with a classic EQ.
Or, for me, like a cheap pedal. Like a pedal that is not giving me that extra spice. I mean, the EQ is still the same, but for me, the feel of playing that, it's like, it's slow, it's like a flat tire. If my bike has not enough air in the tire, it feels like a flat tire, and you have to push more to get some rebounds. And now, can you change the clip to how it should be? A little less volume, please. We don't want to cheat too much. For me, this is like fresh enough air in the tires. This is, give me a touch more volume just for the fun. Then, and what this is just the simple difference of a clipping stage that was changed from symmetrical to asymmetrical. And we have many of different clipping stage, and we have many options of making even different styles of clipping, different style of asymmetrical clipping, and some amps are really challenging. Which we faced the other day. Shall we go for the AC30?
Let's go.
Okay.
Which version? Top boost or?
Standard version first. And wait a minute, is...
The AC30 should be hooked up to 1.
Okay, then... okay, we have already plugged it in.
Yeah.
Let's see if it survives.
And I will double check if the switcher is set correctly.
Okay, that's works.
Yeah, it should be.
So,
okay. So
wait a minute, I have to close the other door because we are using... Let's go totally authentic.
Yeah.
And yeah, okay, this is AC30 at its best. Oh, the internet cable.
Okay.
Leave it there.
So the cabinet is plugged in. So let's switch. Let me first set up the load, because I want to check if the load is running, and therefore I need no signal here.
Yeah.
So let me try it.
I think the load is running. You want to hear?
So, yeah, I want to hear the load. Okay, the load is running, so I'm happy.
Shall I?
What?
Fucking
Yeah.
hell. The storm is going away. Okay. The story of my Vox AC30 is this is a 1964 Vox AC30 with silver bulldog speakers. Sorry for the noise. It's coming in waves, but it will be it will disappear. We have sometimes if it's on for 2 hours, it's okay. So let's okay. The story of this AC30 is in my early 20s. I needed a Vox for the studio sessions that I have done, and Peter Weihe was Germany's #1 session guitar player, and Peter was the killer guitar player using Voxes. I heard a few things that he has done on his Vox with Telecaster, Stratocasters, and his 58 Les Paul. So killer. Peter had a technician, Manfred Reckmeyer, and Manfred I knew as well, and I simply gave him my Vox and said, Manfred, do the same like Peter, because Peter's Vox had some extra sparkle here and there, all based on his session work. And this amp has a few tweaks that of course are not original, but give this amp very, very specific characters. And these are technically even more challenging.
So this Vox is modded to have top boost versus non-top boost in
Switchable in
one
amp.
device.
Yeah.
And also it has an extra effects loop added after the gain and before the tone control.
Yeah.
Ah, now it's over.
So thank you. Let's use the time because now it's totally clean. I cranked the amp to master volume full, and this is, to me, it's a magic sound. Listen. For me, this sound is almost like an acoustic guitar on steroids. Like you have overdrive if you want some, but you have the sparkle. Okay, let's hear the AmpX. I hope we get to the same. More gain.
More gain.
Yeah. Okay, wait. Okay. I need a touch more gain. It's not much, but AmpX now. And
What was that?
that is my guitar.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
listen, I mean, this is killer sounds in the studio. A lot of tube amps don't even have that quality, because this one is it is a good Vox first. It's a 64, and it's modded for this kind of job into something like perfection.
The quality of this amp is that it's always soft, except when you're clean.
Yeah, and there's no other amp that actually does this chimey thing the way like an old Vox is doing. Of course, there are the cats and you know, some amps emulating the Vox, but for me, if you are not building an amp totally committed to be that kind of animal, you don't get there. And you know, on the AmpX, I mean, you could hear it. It's, for me, I'm not missing my Vox anymore.
Should I make it even softer?
We can do more. Yeah, we can do more. Okay, this is now our tweaking side.
This is freestyle, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
Vox is too harsh. But we are now more of the. So this is
The Vox control is all the way turned up.
Genau. We are more Vox than Vox for this kind of, you know.
Someone in the chat is afraid we build AmpX only for Strat.
Well, I showed you the other one. No. We built AmpX for all guitars.
And we promise that the models that are focused on other guitars are the same quality as
yes.
the Strat.
So there's a Les Paul here behind me, guys. Just before you start thinking, hold this for a second. And come on,
Someone asked me to play a C. I have no idea where it is.
No, keep the guitar. I just play a Les Paul, and so.
By the way, already AMP1 is heavily optimized to be less Paulable.
Yes, less Paulable. Yeah.
That's why there is the strong treble pleat.
Yeah.
As far as I understood it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes. Hey guys, it's me and my Strat all the time because that's that.
But you are out of frame. You need to come forward.
I have to come closer.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, so guys, I'm back in the business. Yeah. Of course, I love all my guitars, and I do have 3 Gibsons. This, by the way, was not a Gibson. It's the Office Les Paul Gold Top. A no-name secret. We do a lot of things that never see the market. But
and some things see the market and nobody knows.
Yeah, so this is, but this is
So
why.
is this.
Yeah, so is this. This is why. Yeah, this is why we do live streams. Sometimes we share secrets. Some people maybe think that's marketing. So whatever that is. But this Vox has another circuit, which is even more special. It's the so-called top boost circuit. The Voxes had like 2 versions, one with the tone control with bass and treble, and the other one was like with none, only the cut control, which is it's kind of reducing the high end. It's like a treble kind of thing. But let's go for the super brightest sound in the arsenal here, which is the Vox AC30 top boost. I switch it on here. That's the original Vox, okay? And that's the studio quality of like what I call the acoustic guitar, you know? this to me is magic, this kind of high end. And how soft it is. So let's see if we are somewhere. Okay, it's coming alive again. Before,
Yeah.
this is the best effect ever. This will bring us headaches. Julian already knows that I want it because it's so good. Listen to this.
No. Oh, I think it's a wrong
No,
setting.
no. Okay, it's making
It's
weird
kind of
noises.
little.
Bye bye, Vox. And in this case, yeah,
Let's
switch it
send
off.
it to rest.
Let it rest. We need it. We need it later. In this case, we can show you something that we have worked on to get that sweet sparkle. And if we change our parameter, I can show you what happened if it's not sweet sparkle, if it's just regular sparkle. Have you switched? This is never hurting you, even though we have the same frequencies, we have exactly the same EQ, we have, but the clipping again is different. So for the guys that believe clipping is only for overdrive, clipping is for even clean sounds. So this is for me a very special sound again, and you know, guys, that I love my Marshalls so much, and there are so many more Marshalls on my wish list, and there are Soldanos on my wish list, and there's all that stuff. But what we achieved so far is a spectrum of different tones to double check and approve if our hardware is getting from like the intro highest gain to the cleanest clean, so to speak, even if they're slightly dirty, because it needs a little bit of sponginess to feel right. And there's the big difference between what we are doing and what modeling is doing. I believe that that kind of high end, that sound, at least how it sounds here in the room, I don't know what you hear with this one mic, but if you have a modeler that actually can do this with the same feel, with no harshness, with this kind of silver shining, endless treble, with a feel like an acoustic guitar, like I get it here, with the richness, with all the overtones. If you find a device that can do it in that quality, we are totally interested to get it, but I haven't seen one so yet. And I know that it's hard in the digital world because I designed some modeling amps, and every time when there's too much treble and gain engaged, things get a little bit difficult in the digital domain. And here, as we can hear, no problem.
Someone is asking if wait, I will read it. Will the softness parameter of the amp response tunable by user? It will depend on what we put on the UI.
Yeah.
So I guess maybe this Vox model. Now I'm saying modeling again.
Yeah, it's okay. Analog. Yeah.
Where was I? This amp will probably get that control because it's useful.
Yeah.
But there are like 100 other controls that aren't useful for this amp.
Yeah.
And we won't put them on the surface because most of what you can get when turning them is making it worse.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is our decision also that we take when we analyze the amps, is what is the character? And we found once the character is right, you don't even start to argue about little things. But it's about you have to nail the character, and the rest is, if you have nailed the character, we will have that sweet spot sound that should be adjusted to a different guitar, of course, a different situation, because not everybody has the same guitar like this one or plays a Strat. You should have the character of a certain amp also matching your whatever, Les Paul or you name it. So therefore we have extra controls. One is the very left one. What is the name? Is it boost?
I think there's boost. We should change it to input.
Yeah. That will kind of match your guitar to the sound a bit better. So that's one thing. And then for me, it's kind of a input density control, output density control, and then we have the X controls that will be used to give you the sweet spot adjustment for that character. We don't want to have you guys doing sound design in a way, because as Julian said, it's like you will destroy what is the character of an amp. We will deliver you the original sound quality and a few options of that, and maybe we will even have like an idealized amp version of it. Some of the amps we found is like they're totally cool, original, but when I would play them live, they would be too much, too whatever, too bright for my Strat, or too, and I would like to tame them a little bit. And then I have the sweet spot. I have like my version of that amp that I can actually use live. So when we will sell Blug prints, I'm sure a few amps will come with more Blug prints, even if you just buy one, because we give you an extra Thomas version of that as well. Because it's like I do own the amps, but maybe they are cool as they are, but I would tweak them for my needs. And this is what we can do on the AmpX. And then you can decide if you are the 100% authentic user, or if you probably like my version of it more or not. We do have these options. And when we dive into the amps, we actually, yeah, we have to understand what's going on. It's not a process of just being there and make 3 measurements and there's your amp. No, we have to live with the animal. We have to embrace the qualities, and then we have to challenge us to get those qualities on our platform. And of course, it's a ping pong between measuring hearing, and in this process, there are moments where we are slightly off the original, but sometimes like it better. And of course, beep, we can save this and then collect it. And if we find it worth publishing in a way, we can simply throw it in with such a blueprint.
And of course, we can also do like completely new things.
I mean, you know, at this stage, everybody is just looking at, does it have this sound? Where's my 800 sound? Where's my blah, blah, blah boogie sound? And where's this? Okay, that's all the reference points that we also are using as reference points if we can do it. But this platform gives us the freedom of creating whatever we like. Reference amps and our own creations. And so this is why we are so reluctant on publishing the AmpX, because the more we can still put in this platform, the longer and the better we can realize what we are doing. And I'm repeating myself, AmpX is not a product that we bring to the market and we'll have a Mark II version 3 years later or something like that. It will stay as it is, and the platform needs to stay, because then it will be compatible for years. And we have already shown with AMP1 that we are a long-term thinking company that is not getting a new model every 3 years to make business. We are still selling AMP1s 10 years after selling the first AMP1. And they are not getting worse. They are still great amps, and they always will be, because they will simply just be pocket versions of great amps, slightly colored in our
personal taste.
But this is what an AMP1 is, but heavily inspired by my amp collection. Some of the amps you could blame us. It's not 100% exactly like this old Marshall, but the DNA of those amps was fascinating me, and this DNA is back alive in an AMP1. And now with the AmpX, we can go into even more versions, which has 2 sides. Some people collect everything they find and they become messies. They will have hundreds of options and will forget to play. Me personally, it is something we should... it's good to have options, but then reduce. I mean, I'm a big fan of reduce things to the max. And by the way, Lukas, auf der Fensterbank, there is a, we have a few prototype things here as well. This is for those guys who want more toys and more knobs on the AmpX. It's kind of a, this is only a mock-up of a remote pedal that can be used for BluGuitar products in the future, but it can also be connected to an AmpX to give you more foot switches. This is AmpX, and this is how this will look. So and of course there's other options to get more, you know, rebel yell. But the thing is, on the one hand, I believe it's great to have options. On the other hand is, the more you know that you don't need, the more peace of mind you will get, and the more you will focus on playing. And the reason why I'm not compromising on the quality is when the sound quality of the amp is right, it inspires me to play. And that's what it's all about. It's not about collecting sounds and having one more sound. I've been there in my life as well. When I was a producer, I was collecting snare drum samples. I was collecting plugins, and I had endless folders of whatever was on the market. I wanted that synthesizer and that plugin and this compressor, and in the end you spent your month going through all these plugins and having all these options just to find out that your favorite one is this one and that one. And so part of the job that I'm doing is also trying to pick the right ones, and trying to have no compromise there, because would be something I would regret. I would regret to offer an amp that is not inspiring. So that's my criteria, and I believe, that is the level we are working on.
And I'm kind of the opposite. I try to be not picking a favorite and try to be neutral.
Neutral, yeah.
But at the same time, I find this old tech fascinating because of the time.
Yeah.
Back then, this was cutting edge.
This was the holy grail in amplifiers.
Yeah.
I mean, this is, you were proud to have such an amp.
Yeah.
You could have bought a car for this.
And someone back then was tweaking this amp to the very
Max.
best,
Yeah.
but without all of our tools.
Yeah. Yeah, and this
is really impressing for me.
Yeah, and I think we also have a nice complementary work here with the team. I mean, me and Julia, we spent many hours here. We are the core, but we also have external guys that have special tasks that we kind of delegate here and there.
For example, I'm not the one who designs this desktop software that I'm using.
Yeah, but you demand things.
I demand.
Yeah,
I am the Quälgeist.
Yeah, we are the guys. I mean, okay, this is the German word, the Quälgeist, the torture. We torture ourselves, but we also torture our colleagues, and we only work with people that accept that kind of level. They want to be challenged. Let's say it's a challenge. So for me, it's a challenge on the musical side, and I don't stop before I get the feel for you know. I don't want to look at anything and think I play a Vox. I just want to play a Vox, but not carrying the shit around anymore and having the noisy whoosh, whoosh, maintenance Vox issues and drying up L caps and all that stuff. And I have to reach that level, then I'm happy. And Julian has the same approach or the same level in other fields. Sometimes I have, the other day I was asking, I want all the settings. And then he did all the settings, which was exploding in your software. This was like a complete universe, where to stop. But this is like, he went all the way, and then we found out that we have to be in only one universe. That's enough. but it's okay. So we kind of need a bit of complementary work, and we push us complementary, and sometimes we level us complementary. And yeah, in the team we have a lot of very dedicated people doing it. I think Quälgeist, I can see it. in the chat already. Yeah, somebody is Matthew Gonzalez says AmpX will simplify everything. That is one of these big aspects on AmpX, to have a simpler solution for people that are using a certain amount of gear that is probably not so cool on large pedal boards anymore. So for me there's a frame where I think AMP1 is all you need, and you have maybe one pedal and you're good to go. So therefore AMP1 always will stay there. But if you are building very complex pedal boards, you come to the point where the complexity is creating a risk. And therefore a thing like AmpX is taking away the risk. It is giving you, this is the effects, this is the setting, because it's all a preset, it's all memorized. You don't have to look at the knobs anymore, because you hit the button and bam, there it is. And you don't have, but I already feel that some people will put an AmpX on a pedal board and will put around all other toys and end in the same trap again. But hey, this is for me, it's the big thing of playing AmpX was simply going on stage with that little extra big chocolate bar and having like nothing, and still having all my sounds. So yeah.
Yeah. And to all the questions around there regarding when will we finish and in what condition, and will this be there and that be there, we will just do our best to bring the project forward in the best possible quality, and then when we have a good feeling,
then we will release it.
Yeah, we will produce, and if we produce shit, we will throw it in the trash and produce again.
But I mean, for all the time that we already spent on the project and all the incarnations we have done, we are on 6 now. So and I have the feeling
we didn't get to any limits.
Yeah.
When making what we've shown to you.
Yeah, exactly. And this is the good sign for me, that I can sign off this hardware, which then is another thing signed off and another thing. And
let's still dig through the other modules that haven't got as much attention yet. Yeah,
but I'm very confident because we kind of invested all the knowledge that we gained on the amp side, also on the pedals and stuff like that. And probably that's now the philosophically side of the discussion on AmpX is we will offer tons of pedals, but maybe in the overdrive section we have 2 sections. One is the boost section and one is an overdrive section. If we wanted to reproduce all the pedals on the market, think of how many thousand pedals are out there. I will probably say pedals like amp in the box pedals that are creating the full amp in the pedal. If we are doing the same amp already in the amp section, we don't need to do that. So for me, because otherwise we would do another
then
year.
In the end you can have 2 amp sections.
Yeah, I mean, and so we will. I have my big wish list, and trust me, the important shit is on the list, and there will be tons of pedals and boosters and range masters and tube screamers and reds and blah blah blah. We have checked some of that, most of it already, and we will go through that as well. But there might be a limit where I say, that's a great pedal, but we have the amp that this pedal is simulating as an amp in the AmpX, why should we do the same as a pedal? So somehow that's a point where I can compromise without feeling I have left somebody behind or something behind. That still means there will be tons of pedals possible and done over time. And of course the classics we need from the beginning, which will happen. Okie doke. I think that's what we are doing for now. You can watch what we are doing at the Namm show next week. The next live stream, by the way, is before the show, because the show is starting, I think, on Thursday. And next Wednesday we have a live stream, kind of same time. I think we have to do this from our apartment. There we will show you simply where we are and what happened in the meantime. You never know. We are still working here. We will get all that stuff in a working AmpX because I have to gig with it, as I promised on this intro of the show. So there's still a lot of things to do. But you will see those results in the real enclosure, like giggable, that I will, there's like I have it here behind me at the show. And then, yeah, let's see. I will make my presets, I will do the stuff that I need to play with, and we see how that goes. Yeah, stay tuned for the next live streams to come from LA. There will be at least 2. One before the show, one after the show. Exactly. Yeah, so stay tuned. And of course, we will try to do the walkthrough to show you what's going on at Namm, who is there and who's not. And of course, I will meet hundreds of cool people from the industry, players. I have, again, a wish list of people that I like to meet. I will also meet our business friends, our suppliers. Such a show is a big thing. And it's very exciting. For you guys, it's of course the product and other brands' products. So when I'm there, I have friends who tell me what's new, and I try to keep you updated as much as I can. Yeah, check out the next live stream. Check out what we have as recaps from the show. And yeah, I hope I can present you a few surprises in the next streams. Okay, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Cheers.
Cheers. Bye-bye.